do this to me? But by that time, it was too late, right? So you have to be very wary of friends, people you call friends. So one of the reasons why I don't have friends is for that reason. I tend to have like, I'm so precautionary. Someone called me paranoid, and there's a bit of paranoia in that. But I'd rather be paranoid and safe than open and in danger, but it's really, there's a balance. Obviously, you can't be like, oh my gosh, she's gonna hurt me, oh my gosh, being wary of everything people say and do. It's like for a reason or a cause, and they're after you and they're out to get you. It's not all about that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying be careful, follow your instincts, follow your intuition, and not everyone is what they seem. And if you have a hint that a person's not what they seem, you can go, this far with them, but don't do the extra, right? Like, okay, talk to them, but don't go out with them. Um, help them, but don't eat out with it. I don't know, like, how you say, watch your stomach, don't eat everything people give you because you don't know what they might put in there. Don't wear people's clothing. Like, there's certain things that you should not do unless you really trust the person and you really know the person is has your back. I don't believe in superstition and that people can hurt you unless God allows it, but I also don't believe in putting myself in harm's way, right? So there's a certain way, the certain lifestyle that I live, it protects me, and I don't care how many people are like, you're too uptight and you're this. Well, I'm this old now because I've been very careful, right? I'm, this way now because I've been very cautious. I've been, weary of whom I allow into my life, girl and boy, both, especially boys. But just be careful, right? With the people that you allow in your company. Then it says, it reminds me of when Christ suffered great agony on earth, agony clearly worse than Job's trials, yet he trusted his heavenly Father to accept his sacrifice on our behalf. Let us set our sights on our Father in heaven. Let us trust his almighty hand and deliver us. So we have to get to the point where we are comfortable with our sufferings, right? Where you, not even comfortable, where you accept it, right? It says God's suffering are much worse than Job's sufferings, but they kind of equated them together. And the reason why is because they both got to a point where they said, if this be my lot, I have to take it. I will accept it, right? We have to get to that point where as you're suffering, you're not like giving up or trying to find any way out by every means necessary. Well, obviously you want a way out, but who's going to give you the way out? God. You shouldn't be seeking a way out for yourself, because your way out might cause you even more trouble than you're having come into the issue. Right? So you have to be very careful, and you have to become comfortable with the idea that as a Christian, I will suffer in whatever shape or form it comes. You can't choose your suffering either. You can't be like, oh, I'll go through this, but I won't go through that. So my aunt has back issues, and she suffers. And I remember when it first happened, she was going through a lot of pain, and she was always asking, why? And I remember when I was younger, she's a nurse as well, and she would come home, and she used to work, she was in charge of an oncology unit, and that's a cancer unit. And she would come home and she would always say, man, I don't want to suffer like these people. If I was to suffer like these people suffer, I don't know what I'd do, right? And so when she had her back injury, and then she's like now constantly in pain 24/7, every second of the day, I was reminded by what she had said. And I told her, I said, the reason why you're suffering now is because you said you didn't know what you would do if you were to, right? And so the devil will tempt you with the very thing you don't want. So that's why we need to get comfortable with the idea that we will suffer in whatever shape or form, right? Whatever comes your way, you can handle it. Never say you can't handle something, because guess what? That's exactly what he's going to put before you, because he doesn't want you to handle it. He wants you to give up. He wants you to give in. He wants you to curse God and die. So he's going to try to find exactly what it takes to make you give up, to make you curse God and die. So if you're actually giving him ammunition, you're like, like Samson, right? Samson alone knew his hair was his strength. The devil didn't know that. Do you realize that? If the devil knew that his hair was his strength, the people would have just cut his hair off. Samson had to tell the woman, my hair is my strength. Once you cut it off, then I become weak. You are the only one who can tell the devil how to attack you. You are the only one who can tell the devil how to get you, how you will fail, how you will sin. Every time my inclinations are made known to him, my desires, my wants, my needs. And so I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to my aunt, I was telling my dad, but my dad said the same thing and my mom said the same thing. I have a problem with sharing, i.e., I'm sharing with you right now, right? And I'm always like, I want to share with the most people and tell them, how to get here and there and what to do. But listen, they're sharing and they're sharing. Don't share everything, right? So my problem with sharing is more like wanting you to improve, but you will never really know, certain things about me. And I'm learning to even keep more things a secret, because the more you speak is the more he hears. And the more he hears is the more you're giving him to work on. So now he didn't know that, you had a crush on such and such. All of a sudden you verbalize it, and here comes such and such knocking at your door. He didn't know that, you have a weakness for ice for jewels, right? And then all of a sudden someone's tempting you with jewels. The devil doesn't know what you want. If you're like, I have to get married. Remember we were talking about that yesterday? Well, then you have to. You'll do anything to. All right, well, let's see what can we have you do, right? If you're like, I need to get rich, or whatever, you should never be in the absolute. It should always be, I don't like this, but I like this, but. As a matter of fact, don't tell people your business. Like me, if I ever have a crush on someone, no one knows. Friends, you don't know anything about my crush, right? I'm a female and I have crushes, but why would you need to know? Why would I expose that to anyone? Because then you could set me up with my crush. I don't need that. That's in my heart. Only God and I know, right? My goals in life, only I know, right? So when I published my book, people at church were like, what? I was like, yeah. They're like, why did you tell? Why would I do that? Because once I tell everybody, people will pray against you. They will, make you not succeed. You don't need that. Right? So learn to keep your mind, and I'm learning that for myself, and I'm learning that even with family. It's not because of the family member per se, and it might be because not every family member likes you, but it's mostly because every time you speak what's in your heart, it no longer is a secret, right? The devil cannot read your heart. You let him in by speaking what's in there. So keep your mouth shut, right? Wait till you get your things done and he'll see, right? By that time, it's too late for him to tempt you anyway, right? So keep your mouth shut. Make sure that whatever you feel, you adjust your feelings to be according to the will of God. There's no absolutes in your life. There's no nevers. There's no always, right? Everything is according to the will of God. You will never know. You don't know what God has in store for you. You will always know. You don't know what God has in store for you, right? And you don't know what the devil has planned either. If you don't know what God, who's, or the devil, who's finite, created like every man, if you don't know anything about him, he's smarter than you. How about our maker? So never, ever, right, speak what your faults might be, or your inclinations, the desires, especially the negative ones, especially the things that you know that could cause you to falter. Another story, my aunt was telling me about a friend of hers who was talking to a cousin because she and her husband were like close, and the cousin was jealous, but she didn't know, right? And so the cousin asked her, what would make you like, God, you love this man so much, like what would anything make you like dislike him? And she actually said to the woman, oh, if only if he slept with me. Slept with some other girl. And guess who she had him sleep with? Herself. She slept with her cousin's husband. So now they're separated. So it's like you're giving the devil ammunition. Don't tell people your business, especially if it's negative, especially if it's something you can be tempted with, something that can get to you. Like, oh, the only thing that I hate is, and and I tend to do that too. I'm like, you hear me say, I hate this. I hate people that does this. I hate when people, So I'm speaking to me as I speak to you. So let's learn to shut our mouths, right, and allow God to plan our lives, and don't give the devil any entrance into our lives, right? Because the only way he can enter into your life is through the doors and windows and cracks you open. That was our lesson for the day. See you next time. That's tomorrow. Cheerio.